Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the weekly circle. Today, we're going to be looking at the energies for the week as we usually do. Let me just get TikTok going. So TikTok's gonna be up here, y'all are gonna be down here, so we'll be good. But today we'll be on for about 30 minutes. It's not gonna be a super long live. So we're gonna do the check-in itself. I'm sorry we're like quite a bit late. I realized that I needed to charge my computer because it was dying, so I had to charge it before we started. So it's still like not fully charged. Ooh, I dropped the card. It's still not fully charged, but I wanted to make sure that like at least it has some juice so we can do the live. So with that being said, before we get started, do not forget to get your tickets for the Intro to Spiritual Herbalism one-on-one workshop that's happening December 15th. I'm really excited because the next couple of workshops and a lot of my YouTube content is going to focus on herbalism, just because I think it's time that we need to start covering more herbal content, and I feel like we need to there's just a lot that needs to be learned, and I want to like expand on herbal education because I think it's super important working, with the earth element, working with plant medicine, healing yourself plants, different things. It's just an important thing to cover within your practice. It's just one of the easiest ways to work with plants itself. So we're gonna focus on herbalism for a while. So expect some of my content to be very herb focused for the next couple of months. But you guys can get tickets to the one-on-one workshop. We're gonna cover a lot of things. The link will be in the description, and for those who are on TikTok, the link will be in my tree, which is in my bio. With that being said, let's start checking in on the weekly energies. What do we need to know for this week? What's coming up collectively? What is coming up collectively for this week? We're starting off the week with the moon in Leo. So definitely lots of things going on. The ego is definitely feeling slightly exposed. We're starting off the week with the ego feeling slightly exposed. Collectively, and there's still a lot of emotional transformations going on. There's still a lot of messages coming through. There's still a lot of realizations and breakthroughs that people are having. And the eclipse season is still very much active. So energetically, we're doing a lot. We're going through a lot. Bottom of the deck, the Sun and the Ten of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck. Okay. So the bottom of the deck is the underlining energy. So when it comes to this week, so we're starting off the week with the Queen of Wands, which I'm not surprised because like I just said, we're starting off the week with the moon in Leo. So very much feeling a little passionate, might be, focusing on the self, starting off the week a little bit, feeling a little bit more energized or passionate about certain things that need to come to pass or certain actions that need to be taken, but very, very much, with this little fire, with this kick. Then we move into the Judgment card and the Eight of Swords. Okay. So this week is definitely a test again for our ego. It is a test for our emotions. We're processing a lot of things. We are, navigating a lot of things. Am I doing readings by signs? No, this is a collective message for the week. So there's a lot happening as far as us having our realizations, us going through our internal transformations, us needing to come to terms with a lot of things. There's definitely a false sense of restriction going on as well, especially with the Judgment card and the Eight of Swords. Some of you are going to realize that you have more power than you think you do. And some of you will realize that you have been wasting a lot of time. Who is surprised? Who is surprised? This is like the around the season in the month that once you start inching and inching and inching closer to Capricorn season, a lot of like, you know, how have you wasted your time this year lessons start coming through very heavy. So I'm not even surprised. I'm not even surprised. We are going to be breaking through some limitations that either have been set for ourselves or that we have set in place that have been actively stopping our growth. And how do I know that it's been actively stopping our growth? Because the last two cards of the reading for the collective energies is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the Nine of Swords. Some of you are not going through an easy time. And for some of you is an ego transformation. Like you guys have to accept the way the underlining energy is the Sun and the ten of Pentacles. Some of you actively are having to revisit a decision that you were very sure about. You were very sure about, but it actively has cost you a lot of like pain. And because of the ego, it's been keeping it in like this restriction. So like let's say you moved somewhere that or you made the wrong choice. You moved somewhere that you weren't supposed to move to. You're now feeling the repercussions of not listening to yourself, of not listening to your intuition when it was trying to tell you like this isn't right. This isn't the right place for you. Let's say you kind of did something out of ego where it's like you took a job or you took something that, you know it's not in alignment with you. You know, it's like not the necessarily where you need to be at. Like, or you put money and your values or your possessions before what you needed, before what you actually needed, not what you like wanted, but what you needed. And so now that you're facing the repercussions of it. This week is very, very karmic to the ego. A lot of the restrictions that are in place right now are very much all in your head. That's the other thing that is coming up with the way the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Swords are coming up. A lot of it is in your head, and some of you are realizing how you have kept yourself ungrounded. You have kept yourself from abundance, from opportunities, from growth by mentally keeping yourself there, by the ideas and judgments that you have set in place, by the boundaries that you have set in place for this issue. Like it's very specific. But the ego is definitely going through a transformation. It's definitely a clearing of it's like getting things in order. It's like really going through and analyzing, going through and like discovering and oh, sorry, I clicked on the thing. It's like getting through and actually discovering what has been keeping you in this kind of stasis, what has been keeping you in this kind of way. And ultimately, the ego and your inability to actively hold yourself accountable for some of the decisions that you've made are keeping you ungrounded, especially financially, especially when it comes to abundance. There's a lot of that needs to come into a balance there. We're also getting patience and harmony. There's a lot that needs to it's like you need to have justice. It needs to be justified. But you are coming to terms with the truth of your actions, of the consequences of your actions, the consequences of others' actions, how much energy and time you have been giving to things that are actively knew that it wasn't meant for you, but you entertained it anyway. You're starting to kind of see why you shouldn't have done that now. And you're starting to also see how it's been blocking your path. This is a very important week. This is a very important week. As we start to get, towards the end, towards end game of Scorpio season, certain things are going to start breaking through very quickly. Very, very, very quickly. Romance and love. One of the things that I always say, and it comes up occasionally, but is that, and this is actively true, a lot of the time when we set manifestation, and I know a lot of people love to do like love magic, and they love to, focus on attraction and glamour, and they like make it a big deal, especially for people who are new in their practice, to do love magic and dive into, oh my God, but I just want this. This is what I want. I just want my heart to be good. I just want to be with this person or whatever. A lot of the time, we get stuck in connections that we've been trying to manifest our way out of, but we think that that is the correct one. A lot of people have a hard time processing that when they do love spells and love magic, and when they're like, oh my God, but I really just want to attract this person. I really just want to do X, Y, Z, and B. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. They will not accept in any way, shape, or form that relationship might not be the right one, might not be what they're actively calling in and manifesting. It is really, really, really complicated to set intention for a love that you want and then actively get pushed out of it and completely get trying to, like, spiritually getting pushed out of that situation, not being able to accept that that situation cannot and is not meant to be yours because there's something else that you need to experience. People get stuck and possessive when it comes to love. And I always say this, sometimes, especially when you start dabbling in like love magic, you think it's the person you want or you wish for, but it's actually someone you haven't met yet, somebody that hasn't come in yet. You think that your magic is going to be specific to the thing that you were thinking that you want, but because of the intentions that you set is actually supposed to be a completely different person. And some people have a really hard time accepting the fact that some of the intentions that they set for themselves have actually been restricting them from connecting and meeting the right person. Okay, so when it comes to this week, some of you might have some realizations that are actively like very needed, actively needing to revisit a lot of realizations about how the ego has been impacting what you've been able to ground with. Because if you set intention for that love and it still hasn't, everything's just been trying to kick you out of it, that is a red flag. That is a red flag. And the fact that it's still like trying to make it something that it doesn't want to be, red flag. This is a week of very much red flags and discovering the truth within those red flags and analyzing how you've been trying to wave these red flags in your face and your intuition's been screaming at you, but you've been ignoring it because you've been feeding your ego first, because you think, and you will swear by that, that's the thing that's going to give you that 10 of pentacles, that grounding, that abundance, that prosperity, that long-term connection, that you think that that's what it is. But in reality, that's not the thing. It's not. And the longer you take entertaining relationships and situations that are not meant for you, the farther that you push away the opportunities that you are actively drawing in with your magic. Stop getting in your own way. Stop getting in your way. Like, I cannot stress it enough. Stop getting in your own way. Resilience and strength. Resilience and strength. Hidden realms open. It's a lot of things happening that you can't see. And the intensity of the eclipse is still navigating, is still moving. There's still a lot of things happening, especially within the spiritual realm, that a lot of you are not even aware about, but it's still happening. It's still impacting us collectively. There's a need to make sure that you are actively checking in on yourself, but with the truth. Like, this is a really nice time to take a moment to check yourself with the truth and say, okay, you know what? Okay, if I were to admit the truth, this is what it is. This is really what it is. Like, if I were to say, okay, this is what it is. It is time to admit the truth to yourself, because that's what's going to actively liberate you. You thinking that you can entertain this is going to continue to keep you ungrounded. It just is. And that's really the problem. That's really, really, really the problem. It's going to keep you ungrounded, and it's going to just... One second. There we go. It's going to just actively make it a lot more difficult for you to move towards the things that you actually want. New wonders and power in prayer. New wonders and power in prayer. Because one of the things about Scorpio season that a lot of people don't understand is that it is a launching point. Okay, we are basically coming back to a fire energy, a fire season, right? And so right after, we're going into Sagittarius season. What do the fire signs rule? All of the fire signs. All of the fire signs are connected to the journey, our passion, our drive for our lives, the things that we enjoy. If you look at Aries, Aries rules the journey. Aries is the warrior. Aries is the one that goes through the journey of all of the astrological signs. If you look at Leo, Leo's very passionate about the self, okay? The self and how it experiences life, how it needs to experience a certain quality of life. Leo doesn't want to have a subpar life. Leo doesn't want to have a life that it doesn't enjoy. Leo doesn't want to not love. Leo doesn't want to not be passionate and burn for something, right? The fire signs are very deeply connected to your journey. So what does Sagittarius season do after a very heavy water season? What does Sagittarius season do? Sagittarius is rule education, travel, adventure, luck, opportunity. Okay, Sagittarius is the luckiest sign, astrologically speaking, ruling that adventure philosophy, like abundance, that expansive energy where it's like, I can do whatever I want. I could do anything. I can run anywhere. I can learn anything. It's like an endless possibility when it comes to Sagittarius, because it is a moodable sign. Very much mutable sign. While Leo is a fixed sign and wants to feel good all of the time, Sagittarius is a mutable sign. It goes with the flow of what it needs to know, what it's trying to learn, what it's trying to experience. So having Sagittarius be right after Scorpio season, Scorpio, which is a very, very dense, very serious energy, very transformative energy. Sagittarius is like that breath of fresh air before we move into Capricorn season. The last 3 seasons of the year are very, very like heavy. They tend to be very heavy. Capricorn energy is very serious. Aquarius energy is also very serious, very like kind of makes you disconnect and want to like, and then Pisces season just expands on that disconnect because it pushes you to reflect because it is the sign that rules reflection. And so Sagittarius season, it is the breath of fresh air before we go through the journey of getting back into Aries season. So it's important to look at how we're being pushed into newness, into freshness, into, releasing anything that's actively getting in our way of having our roads open, of having that luck, that abundance, those opportunities to happen. If we are actively feeding and feeding and giving so much energy to things that are not are just not trying to actually benefit us in life. They're not meant to be a part of us. A lot of the times the things that are not meant to be yours will keep showing you, keep rejecting you, will keep showing you that is not meant to be yours. But we as possessive humans, right? We will try to no, but like the fact that it doesn't want you more, it is like you want it more because it doesn't want you, because it's not for you. It is time to look towards a different direction. And it is a really, really important time to trust the process. We got gratitude and we have trust. Gratitude and trust. Trust the process. If you have been actively just like straight up plagued by the situation that does not budge, it does not leave, it doesn't give you any peace, and it's because you have put so much effort and time that you just don't even, you're like, Abby, but look at the bottom of the deck. Release and veiled and then growth. It's a lot of blues and purples there. There's a lot of mental clarity that's coming this week, but the truth is what is going to be the most healing thing. You coming to terms with what the truth is ultimately how we have our deepest transformation through the last leg of Scorpio season. That's how we move forward. That's how we evolve. That's how we're able to move past a limitation that we put on ourselves. That's kind of the other thing, is like, we did this to ourselves. Stop holding on to things that you actively have no business holding anymore. It's not working. Dive. You don't find pearls in the seashore. You have to go deeper. You have to go deeper. What is the truth taught you about yourself? What has the truth that you either have yet to accept or that you need to accept have taught you about yourself? How much time are you willing to put into something that is not meant to be yours? Prudence. Don't be lured by the siren song. How much time are you going to put into something that is not meant to be yours? If you know you're not meant to go there, why would you go anyway? Why? How much longer are you going to allow yourself to be stuck? To be stuck on a decision, on an intention, on an idea, on something that you wanted, but it's not working. You know it's not working. There's no budging it anymore. You know it's not working. And the more energy that you put into it, because yes, we're human beings. We will mourn. We will like feel like, oh my God, but I really wanted this. Oh my God, but why couldn't this just work out with this person? Like, oh my God, like, why did it have to be like this? Like, I just want, this is what I wanted. What you want is a corner away from you. It's just not where you're at right now. It's like you wanting to go like eat food. You want some really bomb Indian food, or you want some really bomb Puerto Rican food. But you want it exactly where you're at instead of going to the restaurant that you know makes it perfectly. Instead of going there, you expect it to be exactly the way you want it where you're at without making any moves, any motions, it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. Do not expect to do the same thing over and over. Do not expect intentions that have not literally showed you that you are supposed to have it, that you're supposed to connect with this, that you're supposed to experience this. Just because your ego is like, no, but I want it, but I want it, but I want it, but I want it. You can't tell me that I don't. I want it. I want it, Abby. Okay, but I want it. Okay, but it might not be meant for me, but I still want it. Okay, but how is that going to work exactly? How? It's almost like you don't know how to take no for an answer, because that is a boundary. If you're not supposed to have something and you continuously try to make that something work, even though you know in your heart of hearts you're not supposed to have that thing, you're literally putting yourself through hell, and then you're ungrounding yourself for no reason. Because this is the thing about, the Queen of Pentacles being in reverse. The Queen of Pentacles coming up as, straight up, the beginning of the week, we're coming up as a Queen of Wands. Very passionate, very much about the journey, feeling very ego based. This starts with our ego, but you have not realized how much harm this has caused you. Okay, with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, you haven't processed it yet. You haven't processed how your passion about that thing that you want, that you know is not working for you, that you're not supposed to even be there. If you just had it, if you just had this thing that you wanted, you would just be in, just like, oh my God, you would just have that love, you would have that prosperity, you would just be set. But it keeps showing you that it's not meant for you. So what are you doing? You're stuck in this like whole entire mental health crisis, basically, because this has been making you, as much as you have an ego, because we all do, this has been making you very depressed. This is mentally draining on your spirit. How much longer are you going to take from this? How much longer are you going to avoid the truth before you accept it? Or are you going to trust the process? Are you going to trust that you will be taken care of? That you will be fine? Are you going to trust the process? Discernment. Because some of y'all really be ignoring your minds. Yo, the mind, the throat, this is the element that we use the most as human beings. It's the fastest one, right? Because we're constantly breathing, we're constantly taking up oxygen, we're constantly using and working with the air element. If we don't have the air element, we literally do not exist, okay? So this is the one that we're constantly taking in, but we forget to process. We forget to stop and discern. We forget to sit with how this has been taking a toll on our spirit. But then we want to get mad about not having the results. No. We don't want to look at the way that our intuition has been warning us about this thing. We just want to get mad that we don't have the thing. But why don't you have the thing? No, you'll avoid the judgment card. Listen, you will avoid anything that will signal to you that you're not supposed to have this thing. Because at the end of the day, it's going to hurt your ego. Y'all need to get it together this week, because this week ends with the 9 of Swords, which means that, ultimately this has slowly been chipping at your mental health. And it is time to really look at how much of a toll this has taken on your spirit, how much of a toll this has taken on your path, how much this decision to feed your ego in this way, in this very much unhealthy way, how it's been blocking not only opportunities, but just your own journey. It's time. It's time. You see how we got re-energized and contentment? It is time. It's not about not feeding our ego. Obviously, we're humans. We want things. We can be possessive. We all have one of these, but it's about feeling passionate again. It's not just constantly about feeling passionate or throwing all of our energy into something that literally it like repels us. It doesn't want to be with us, around us, near us. Like, it just is constantly repelling us, but we keep trying to feed it instead of feeding ourselves, focusing on ourselves, bringing that light, that energy, that sun's energy to, shine on the right seeds. So, you can move into the 10 of Pentacles energy. Like, it's time to refocus. It is time to accept the truth of the matter. Bottom of the deck, the future, positivity, right? It is time to get back on track with what you need to experience, well, what you need, just what you need, what you want, but also what you need. Who you are in the future might completely have different realizations about what you needed to experience. And some of you might regret how much time you fed and gave to the situation, but it's actively necessary to come to terms with that. This is the week where we come to terms with how our energies have been completely misused, how our intentions have been completely misused, how we've been selfish with ourselves about what we're willing to tolerate. It is a time where we ask the biggest, the biggest Leo question of all. Because I told y'all, we're starting the week with a Leo moon. You're starting the week with a very passionate moon. So the question is, are you happy? If you're not happy, why aren't you happy? What is stopping you from being happy? What is stopping you from being happy? And if it's you, you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that you made decisions that made you unhappy. And that's okay, because now that you know that that's the truth, what is the saying? How does the saying go? The truth will set you free. You can then correct yourself. You can then make, different choices. Maybe, possibly. You can then choose differently for yourself. Get back on track with yourself. Truth is the biggest transformative way that Scorpio season manifests itself, because Scorpio rules the truth. Scorpio rules the truth. Death and transformation. What is it that pushes us into transformation? The truth. The truth transforms us. That's how we evolve, by having these realizations, by navigating and evolving and allowing ourselves to process how our actions have been getting in our own way of our own evolution, and how they've been actively ungrounding us Okay? How they've been actively ungrounding us in the process. It's important to process this now before we get into Capricorn season. I cannot stress that enough. Reason being, because Capricorn season tends to be a very depressing time for people because one, it is the last cardinal energies of the year. A lot of people feel like they failed or like they're very harsh on themselves mentally. They're very harsh on themselves and their own experiences, their own actions. And why does this happen in Capricorn season? Are we surprised? Are we surprised? Capricorn is like peak pinnacle of goal oriented like energies. It is a sign that focuses so much on climbing the mountain, on achieving the thing. So if there's intentions that you have set for yourself that you haven't yet achieved because you got in your own way, you will be 10 times harder on yourself in a Capricorn season than in a Scorpio season, because Scorpio season will just transform you. You'll be able to emotionally release the weight of how you've been getting in your way. But Capricorn season grounds it. Capricorn season solidifies the time that you've wasted. It makes you feel like shit that you, and then you look at the year and you're like, oh my God, I wasted so much time on the damn person. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe I just did that. I cannot believe, like, all year, like, really? Like, and if it's even longer than that, you're looking at things through time. Then it gets heavier. Then you're harsher on yourself. It's important to get through your transformations during Scorpio season, because Capricorn season can be way heavier and way harsher and way more karmic on your spirit than you want it to be. And the thing about Capricorn season, when it comes to mental health and when it comes to processing our own like failures and our own like ways that we've been getting in our own way, is that as we start getting closer to the new year, the energy then shifts within Capricorn energy. And then we're like, okay, new year, who this, new year, I'm going to try this, and new year, I'm going to just let go. New year, that's when we start like kind of shifting, but it takes a while. It is a month where mental health tends to be very heavy on our spirit. And so it's important to, instead of wasting Capricorn season going through that, process it during Scorpio season. So in Capricorn season, you can focus on grounding yourself again, which is what it should be used for. That's what Capricorn season should be used for. Not to beat yourself up about the shit that you couldn't, that you didn't get to achieve or succeed with because you got in your own way, because you wasted time, because you gave unnecessary stuff energy that you didn't need to do that. It's you don't need to beat yourself up about that. Take it from a Capricorn. You don't. What you need is to ground yourself. Have a different approach to how you are relating, to how you're using the energy. Scorpio season is a time for death, transformation, the truth, the occult, to look at what is hidden. And what is hidden? What has your ego been hiding for this whole time? What has your ego been hiding? What have you been trying to ignore that has been getting in your own way? And if it's you, then you need to accept that you've been getting in your own way and promise yourself that you're not going to get in your own way. Like, get it together. Get it together. So that way, when you get to Capricorn season, you get to see the progress in between Sagittarius, like Scorpio season and Sagittarius season. You get to see progress, which very much Capricorn energy measures as well. It's way easier on your mental health if you focus on healing emotionally and post-processing how you have been getting in your own way and transforming with the truth than doing it in Capricorn season. Just trust me. Trust me on this. With Capricorn stealing us, trust me. Your girl has 5 planets in Capricorn, okay? So if you're going to trust somebody with Capricorn energy, it better be me. I'm just saying. It shouldn't be a season that it is, but it turns into a shit show because people don't know. They misuse energy all of the time. Okay, we're very high on eclipse energy. It's very intense. A lot of things are getting pushed. We're getting pushed into the evolutionary energy is there. Okay, it's really, really important to not gaslight ourselves, to continue to do behaviors and continue to move towards intentions and people and situations that literally we just been gaslighting ourselves that we need, or that we continuously just need around, or we need to keep feeding energy to. Like, it's time to release, it's time to let go, it's time to process, it's time to accept the fact that you've been doing this to yourself. It's time to forgive yourself for it, and it's time to evolve. It's time to move into your next step. Let Sagittarius season be the breath of fresh air that it needs to be, to get you back on track with your journey, so you can decide consciously where it is you want to go, and allow yourself to tap into that luck energy from Sagittarius season, so you get back on track. So when Capricorn season comes, you're like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit more grounded. I feel like this is going to be my intentions for the new year, instead of like beating yourself up like, oh my God, I wasted so much time. Time is always a focus on Capricorn season, because we are ruled by time. Saturn is a planet of time. Ruled by time. And it's not just one season, because Aquarius season, Aquarius is also co-ruled by Saturn. So you get 2 seasons plus Pisces season. Pisces being the sign of reflection, to basically shit on yourself about mistakes, about just dragging shit out. Like, just let it go in Scorpio season. I'm telling you, do yourself a favor. Let it go in Scorpio season, so that you can kind of go through other stuff through the other seasons. There's so much that you can do with the rest of the energies. You could reinvent yourself in Aquarius season. You could focus on creativity or your spiritual development in Pisces season. It doesn't have to be you constantly beating yourself up about mistakes or actions that have been taking up a lot of time, have been wasting a lot of time. Okay? Try to get back on track. Try to get back on track with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. Don't fall into stupid temptation, okay? Don't let people gaslight you. Just acknowledge the truth. Acknowledge that it's been getting in your way, that your actions have been getting your own way, and get back on track. Get back on track. You'll be fine. Get back on track. That's it. That is a weekly healing circle. I love you guys so much. I'm sorry that it's like slightly short, but those are all the messages that are coming through, so you already know. But anyway, I love you guys. And for those who are on the Clock app, the TikTok, make sure you're following me on YouTube, because there's like a ton of content that we're going to be doing. Also, don't forget to sign up for the intro to spiritual herbalism one-on-one workshop that I'm doing December 15th. We're going to be focusing more on a lot of like just herbal content, because I feel like it's important to just start learning about plant medicine. So that's what we're going to be teaching. So stay tuned for all of the things. There's going to be more videos and stuff to come. And I'm sorry, TikTok, I know I've been like not on the app lately. I've just been working. Like, I've been actively working on writing. I've been doing a lot of things. Just know that I'm working. You know, just know that the Capricorn is at work. Just know that. But yeah, no, Scorpio season always tends to be a very spiritually intense and powerful time for me. So I usually just kind of take it to as it comes. So that I've also been doing that. But we're still here. I love you guys. I will see y'all in the next video. If you're on TikTok and you want to see the rest of the live, like rewind it or whatnot, go to my YouTube, because it's always available for replay. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.